What's going on, everyone? Today I want to talk to you about something. Everyone tells you to raise your frequency, but nobody tells you what your frequency actually is. And that's the problem. You cannot raise something that you don't understand. So in this video, I want to teach you the neuroscience behind raising your frequency. I want to teach you how your brain works, how it designs automatic systems that predict the future, and you design your behavior basing on those predictions. All of this happens unconsciously, so you have to make it conscious so you can change it. So if you master the diagram and the knowledge I will teach in this video, you can become a disciplined person, a smart person, and confident person, and just work towards your dream and make it. Before jumping into neuroscience, we've got to understand what frequency actually is from a philosophical point of view. Why? Because the term frequency is a philosophical structure. It comes from philosophy. And what is philosophy? Well, philosophy is a tool to think. Sometimes science didn't make enough progress to understand a phenomenon. That's why people use philosophy to think about that phenomenon. So it's not the most rigorous science field, but it's useful to think about complex stuff. And Hermeticism has thousands of years. So it's really ancient, and that's why it's so generic. Your vibrational state is a generic structure. It's a philosophical generic structure, because philosophy is made to be abstract and generic, so when science makes progress, philosophy matches science. Philosophy is used to think about phenomena, and if you don't make them abstract, you can fall into creating rigorous data that may be false. So you have to be generic. Now, Hermeticism states that reality is constituted by infinite planes. And inside those planes, there are different elements. For example, you have the mental plane and you have the physical plane. And inside the physical plane, you have different colors, different materials and stuff. And what Hermeticism says is that, for example, this board is white and its frame is black because they differ in their rate of vibration. That's their frequencies. So if you want to become a better person, or a person that makes money or makes better friends, you have to raise your frequency. But that's just a philosophical structure. I mean, that's nonsense. It makes sense, but not enough. So I want to teach you neuroscience so you can actually understand how to raise your frequency. But let me tell you something before. Now, Hermeticism states something else, and that is the principle of cause and effect. This principle states that every cause has its associated effect, and every effect has its associated cause. Then, your mind, that is your mental state that lives in the mental plane, that you can change in order to manifest into the physical plane, is generated by a cause. And what is that cause? Well, that's your brain. That's why using neuroscience is useful to raise your frequency. Remember, every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. So if you hear that you have to raise your frequency, or you have a mind, or you have some kind of philosophical stuff, there may be a cause that causes that effect. So jumping into neuroscience from philosophy, it actually makes a lot of sense. Raising your frequency is just changing your emotions, changing your moods, changing your knowledge about yourself. That's raising your frequency. Changing your knowledge about yourself may convert you into a disciplined person. A disciplined person gets better results. That's raising your frequency. So this is not going to be some kind of magical lesson in which I teach you how to manifest instantly $1 million. But I can assure you that if you apply this knowledge, you can make long-term changes for yourself and change your life. So you have a human brain, and your brain is trying to save energy because your energy is finite and you have to do a lot of complex things every day. How do you optimize energy consumption? You do that by automating your behavior and automating other processes. That's why we have an unconscious mind. We can define in this video that the unconscious mind is just a set of automatic systems. That way we save energy. If you had to do everything in a conscious way, you would spend enormous amounts of energy. And actually the brain is not cognitively skilled to do all the processes consciously. So you have to do the processes in the background with other parts of your brain. How do you automate your actions? You automate your actions by creating a model of reality and using that model of reality to design your behavior in a similar way every time. Why do we simplify reality? Because reality is a complex phenomenon. It has infinite dynamic variables that you cannot contemplate consciously in one single instant. So you simplify it. How do you simplify reality? You simplify reality by storing memories and beliefs about the past and imagined experience work as well. So every time you experience something in your life, you socialized, you worked for a couple of hours, you studied, you went to school, you store that as a memory and then created a belief that constructs or builds a model of reality inside your brain. That means that your model of reality is not delusional or accurate about the truth. Your model of reality is just a simplification, and that's it. It's not true or false. It's just your tool to design your behavior and spend low amounts of energy. Now, the interesting thing about this is that your model of reality can be divided into two big groups. The first group is your identity. This is all the information you have in your head about yourself. It's who you think you are. And be careful here, because you will use this info to behave. If you think you are disciplined, you will be disciplined. It's that simple. If you think you are confident, you will be confident. And the model of your environment is what I said. It's a model of your environment. It's what you think about your environment. Remember, you also have models of the people you know. Your friends are stored in your mind as a model. That's like identities of other people. So you create a model of other people and of your environment. So if you think walking down the streets is dangerous, that's just a set of memories and beliefs that state that walking down the streets is dangerous according to your model. It's not true or false, it's just what you believe is true. If you think money is scarce or abundant, that's not true or false. That's just part of your model of reality, which is not delusional or accurate. It is not true or false. It's just a model. Now, your brain uses this model of reality to create predictions, design your actions, and then you will create your outcomes. Now, from this model of reality and your predictions, your mind creates thoughts. Now, before jumping into a generic term as thoughts, I want to explain your prediction. Your prediction is a prediction, of course, about the future, and it's about a specific event. So if you are about to socialize with somebody, your brain will create a prediction about what's going to happen according to your model. So if you failed in socializing for many times in your life, then you will predict failure in the future. If you have tried to work for many years, but you are undisciplined and you just work for a couple of minutes and then get distracted by your phone or whatever, then your brain will start predicting failure every time you try to work. So your prediction is extremely important. It can be positive or negative. It can go according to your dreams or it can go against your dreams. That means that if you change your prediction about the future, you can change your future. For example, if you think you're going to fail in a project that you just started, then you're going to work for little hours and you will get distracted by your phone probably, because why would you spend energy in a project that is going to fail, right? Remember, your brain is trying to save energy with all this stuff. So if you predict failure about something, then you won't work hard enough to make it. But if you predict failure and you are extremely confident that you are going to make it and you have no doubt about yourself, then you're going to work extremely hard. And guess what? Hard work brings results, guaranteed. Now, this model of reality will create thoughts in your mind. Those thoughts can be just generic thoughts about the past, about the future, or maybe a prediction that's about the future. But it's a specific prediction about a specific event. You may also think of the future, but let's say that if you're thinking about the future, you are making a prediction. That's it. No, mama. Now, from your model of reality, you will create thoughts. It's not you. It's like your unconscious mind. Like you are not crafting the thought. The thought just pops up, right? And this thought brings emotions attached to it. So you may feel worried, you may feel anxious, you may feel sad about something. Now, guess what? You don't have to avoid emotions. You don't have to avoid the thought. That's not the thing that you are supposed to do. But you can contemplate that thought from a third-person perspective. You can become the observer of your thoughts. And when you become the observer of your thoughts and you understand that you are not your identity, you are not your environment, you are not your body, you are not your name, you are just a consciousness that has an identity because you have to behave automatically in this world. But you are just a consciousness. So your thoughts are not true or false. So your anxiety is not true or false. I don't mean problems of anxiety. That's a completely different thing I won't get into. But when you have a thought that makes you think about the future and gives you negative emotions about the future, or you get sad because of something that happened in the past, you have to understand that that's just your interpretation of reality. And it's not true or false. And you can change it. How do you change it? Well, you have to do exactly what I said. Understand that your thoughts are not true or false. So let's create a plan to change your model of reality and be successful. That is like raising your frequency. Now, the first step is to become aware. Aware of what? You have to become aware of your thoughts, everything that pops up in your mind. And understand that those thoughts are not true or false. Those thoughts just are. That's it. That's it. They seem to be true because your environment, your current environment, has effects that were generated by your thoughts of the past. So they seem to be true. Your thoughts seem to come from the physical plane, but it's not that way. Actually, your physical plane comes from your thoughts. So you don't change your physical plane before changing your thoughts. You don't make money, you don't make friends, you don't study and then change your thoughts. You change your thoughts, and that new person with that new thought will study, make money, and make new friends and everything you have always wanted. So the key to success is understand that every thought that tells you that you will fail must be discarded. And then you have to feed positive thoughts that show you being successful, being confident, being disciplined. And you will be that. You will be successful. Now, the second and final step is embodiment. You have to embody your new identity. You have to jump from your current identity that generates the effect you don't want because you want new effects. And you jump into your new identity. Just because you don't have a justification, you don't make new money, like you don't make more money now, you don't make new friends, you don't make anything new, but you jump into your new identity, and that new person will be responsible for making those effects come true. And I can guarantee that if you make this properly, that new person will do it. Because it's just the principle of cause and effect. If you become the person that causes the effects you want, you will just generate them. Of course, this is not about magic. You won't raise your frequency and money will come to your life and good people will come to your life. Remember, every effect has its cost. If you want to make money, you will have to work hard. It's just working. But the thing about raising your frequency, that is, in neuroscience, changing your identity, is basically becoming the kind of person that can achieve that can make that come true. Because you will be disciplined, you will be confident, so you will work hard towards your goals and you will make it. You have to embody that identity of yourself that you have always considered ideal, the ideal version of yourself. When you visualize yourself in the future, making money, dressing the way you love, having the knowledge that you've always wanted to learn, and being the person that you just consider the ideal version of yourself. You just have to embody that version now, even though you don't have the effects yet. Maybe you want to make money, maybe you want to be a successful artist, maybe you want to be a successful professional, or you want to do anything, but you have to become the kind of person that achieves that. And that's by embodying the identity and being disciplined, confident, smart. You have to move in the game like a smart and confident person, and you have to be disciplined to make it. So that's what they mean when they say raise your frequency. Basically, changing your identity, understanding that your thoughts are not true or false. Your thoughts just are. So if you let the negative thoughts just be there, but observe them, contemplate them from a third-person perspective, understand they are not true or false, they are just thoughts. And then you focus on positive thoughts and you expand them, you make them grow. Then you will become a successful person just because of the principle of cause and effect. Start predicting success in your life and you will create success no matter what. It may take time, you will have to work hard, of course, but you will make it someday. And if you work hard enough for like 6 months, 12 months, you will start getting big results in no time. So I hope it helped. Thanks for watching. Bye.